Two trucks, two V8s, one question that actually matters once the new truck smell wears off. Which one of them is still running strong when the odometer rolls past 200,000 miles? The Ford F-150 and the Chevrolet Silverado 1500 are the two best-selling trucks in America, and both still offer a naturally aspirated V8 for buyers who want power without a turbocharger in the mix. It's easy to look at a horsepower number on a window sticker and think that that settles the argument. It doesn't. Horsepower tells you how a truck feels for the first 10 minutes. It says almost nothing about how that truck tows a trailer up a mountain grade, how it ages at 150,000 miles, or what it costs to keep on the road at 250,000. This comparison uses the F-150's 5.0-liter Coyote V8 and the Silverado's 5.3-liter EcoTec3 V8, the two volume-selling naturally aspirated engines in each lineup. By the end, you're going to know which one wins on power, which one wins on towing, which one holds up better long-term, and which one is the smarter truck to own for the next decade. I'm Ryan, and I've spent 20 years around trucks and engines. So, let's get into the details and see which V8 really deserves your money. Engine and power. The F-150's 5.0-liter Coyote V8 makes 400 horsepower and 410 pound-feet of torque, paired exclusively with a 10-speed automatic. The Silverado's 5.3-liter EcoTec3 V8 makes 355 horsepower and 383 pound-feet of torque, paired with an 8-speed automatic on most trims and a 10-speed on higher trims. On paper, the Coyote wins both numbers, but raw output only tells part of the story. The Coyote is tuned for a broader power band, building torque steadily as revs climb, which is why it feels noticeably stronger past 4,000 RPM. The EcoTec3 builds torque lower and flatter, confident off the line, but less exciting as revs climb towards redline. Throttle response favors the Coyote, mostly due to its higher compression ratio and more aggressive cam timing, which means quicker tip-in and a stronger pull when merging or passing. The EcoTec3 isn't sluggish, it just delivers power in a calmer, more linear way that many drivers genuinely prefer for daily use. Under load, the gap widens. Loaded with cargo or climbing a grade, the Coyote holds higher gears longer before hunting for a downshift, while the EcoTec3 drops a gear sooner in order to maintain pace. Neither approach is wrong. One simply asks less of the driver during hard acceleration. Towing and hauling. Maximum towing capacity favors the F-150. A properly equipped 5.0-liter Coyote V8 F-150 can tow up to 11,600 pounds, while a comparably equipped 5.3-liter EcoTec3 Silverado tops out closer to 11,100 pounds. Payload numbers are close enough that trim and cab configuration are going to matter more than the engine choice itself. The real difference shows up in trailer confidence, not the number on the sticker. The Coyote's broader torque curve means less gear hunting on rolling terrain, which translates to a smoother, more predictable tow. The EcoTec3 pulls a trailer just fine, but it works harder to maintain speed on a grade, showing up as more frequent downshifts and a busier transmission. Cooling capacity is strong on both trucks when properly optioned with a factory tow package, and neither engine shows a meaningful edge in sustained high-load cooling. Low-speed pulling power, the kind that's needed for backing up a loaded trailer up a boat ramp, nearly identical between the two. For occasional towing, either truck handles the job without drama. For weekly towing of a travel trailer or equipment trailer, the F-150's broader torque curve and higher capacity make it the more relaxed truck to live with. Fuel economy and daily driving. Neither truck is going to impress anyone at the pump, and V8 buyers already know that going in. The 5.0-liter Coyote is EPA rated around 17 miles per gallon city and 23 miles per gallon highway in two-wheel drive form. The 5.3-liter EcoTec3 lands close behind at 16 miles per gallon city and 21 miles per gallon highway. In real-world mixed driving, most owners of either truck report numbers just a couple miles per gallon below the sticker. In stop-and-go traffic, the EcoTec3's cylinder deactivation helps it hold a very slight edge in daily commuting, quietly running on 4 cylinders under light load. The Coyote uses a similar strategy, so the city driving gap is smaller than it used to be just a decade ago. On long highway stretches, both engines settle into a relaxed cruise, and the 10-speed transmissions in both trucks keep engine speed low enough that neither drones at highway speed. If fuel economy is the top priority and towing isn't a regular need, a turbocharged 6-cylinder in either lineup beats both of these V8s. For a buyer who wants V8 smoothness and doesn't mind the fuel cost, difference at the pump is close enough to call it a wash. Long-term reliability, 4 checkpoint comparison. Judged on the same 4 checkpoints every time, valve train, cylinder and bore wear, oil control, and everything outside the engine, the picture's close, but it's not identical once real numbers get attached to each one. So starting with 1, the valve train. The Coyote's timing chain, guides, and tensioners show no measurable stretch even past 220,000 miles with routine oil changes. The EcoTec3's lifters, tied to its cylinder deactivation hardware, are the more common failure point, with the telltale cold start tick usually surfacing between 120 and 160,000 miles. Left unaddressed, that wear turns into a full cam and lifter job. All 16 lifters, a new cam, and a new timing set, running at $2,000 to $3,500 in parts and labor. All right, 2, cylinder and bore wear. Both engines hold compression within 5 to 8% of factory spec at 200,000 miles when maintained on schedule, with clean cylinder walls on bore scope inspection well past 250,000 miles in properly maintained examples. All right, 3, oil control. The Coyote's most common issue is a valve cover gasket that starts to seep, usually first noticed between 150,000 and 200,000 miles, and that's a $150 to $250 fix. The EcoTec3 typically stays under half a quart of consumption between changes, but metal contamination on an oil analysis is the earliest warning sign that lifter wear's begun. And 4, external and transmission. The Coyote's water pump sits externally, and it runs $200 to $400 to replace. The EcoTec3's real risk is that same lifter wear progresses into the $2,000 to $3,500 job above, a repair that the Coyote doesn't share. Both transmissions do hold up well past 150,000 miles on original fluid, with routine service running at 150 to 250 on either truck. Capacity matters too here. Trucks towing regularly near their rated maximum, again 11,600 for the F-150 versus 11,100 for the Silverado, they load exactly the components that each engine is weakest in. A Coyote towing near its limit weekly still holds its timing chain past 200,000 miles. But an EcoTec3 under the same duty cycle tends to show lifter wear on the earlier end of the 120 to 160,000 mile window, since sustained load accelerates wear on the deactivation hardware. Overall, the Coyote holds up better past 200,000 miles, with a few major internal repairs and a lower worst-case bill. Again, the EcoTec3 is not a bad engine, it asks for closer attention past 120,000 miles in order to avoid its one well-documented weak point. All right, maintenance and repair costs. Routine maintenance costs are close between these trucks. Oil changes run similar intervals and prices, spark plugs are inexpensive on both, and air filters are a simple job that most owners can do themselves. Transmission service intervals are comparable, and neither the 10-speed nor the 8-speed demands unusual attention when serviced on schedule. Cooling system maintenance favors the Coyote slightly, since its external mounted water pump does make for a straightforward job when it does eventually need replacement. Brake jobs, essentially identical in cost and complexity across both trucks. Where the trucks do separate is the cost of the failures that do happen. A Coyote valve cover gasket runs about a few $100s. An EcoTec3 cam and lifter job, when the deactivation hardware wears out, much larger bill, often running into several $1,000s. That single repair is the biggest financial risk sitting inside the EcoTec3's otherwise solid reputation. Parts availability favors Ford slightly, simply due to how many Coyote-powered trucks are out on the road. That said, the EcoTec3 is nearly as common, and any competent shop out there can source parts or diagnose either engine without trouble. Dealer pricing, comparable across both brands, with the real cost difference coming down to which specific repair a given truck eventually needs. Interior and technology. Both trucks offer clean, functional dashboards, but they also take different approaches. The F-150 emphasizes physical buttons alongside its touchscreen, which owners do appreciate when wearing gloves or driving with dirty hands on a job site. The Silverado leans further into touchscreen controls with a wider standard display on the mid and upper trims. Storage? Strength for both, with large center consoles and available underseat storage. Though the F-150's optional flip-up work surface is a genuinely useful touch for anybody who's using the truck as a mobile office. Rear seat space? Generous in both crew cab configurations, with the F-150 holding a slight edge in legroom. Visibility? Strong in both thanks to tall greenhouses and available camera systems. For work truck practicality, buttons you can find without looking, and simple, durable materials that matter more than flashy screens, both trucks deliver that in their work-focused trims. Ride quality and handling. Steering feel is light and easy to manage in both trucks at low speed, which matters more than most buyers expect when maneuvering in tight lots or backing up to a trailer. On the highway, both trucks track straight and they stay composed at speed. Empty bed ride quality is where the two are going to feel the most different. The Silverado's suspension leans slightly softer over rough pavement, which some drivers prefer for daily comfort. The F-150 feels a touch more controlled over larger bumps, with less rebound after a hard hit. Loaded down with cargo or a trailer, both trucks settle down and ride more predictably, which is normal for a half-ton pickup that's built around that duty cycle. Cornering is not the priority for either truck. What matters more is body control on rough roads and confidence at highway speed. And both deliver that without much that's separating them. And finally, resale value and ownership. The F-150 holds a meaningful resale advantage, typically retaining a higher percentage of its original value after 5 years than a comparable Silverado does. And part of that comes down to sustained demand, and also part of it comes down to the Coyote's reputation following it into the used market. Used V8 trucks from both brands remain in strong demand, especially among buyers who specifically want to avoid a turbocharged engine. Parts availability for older examples of both trucks? Excellent. Condition and maintenance records, they are what matter more than the badge when it comes time to sell either truck. And a documented service history, that adds real value to whichever one you choose. Which one should you buy? Final verdict. If you tow, want the stronger engine, or you plan to keep your truck past 200,000 miles, buy the F-150. The 5.0-liter Coyote V8 pulls harder under load, it holds gears longer on grades, and its most common long-term repair just costs a few $100s instead of several thousand. The Silverado's 5.3-liter EcoTec3 V8's a good engine, but its cylinder deactivation hardware carries real risk if maintenance slips, and that risk only grows the longer you own it. For daily driving, work duty, towing, resale, and long-term ownership, F-150 is the clear winner. Silverado only makes sense if you never tow and you prioritize a slightly softer ride over everything else. Before buying either one used, make sure to get a full service history and have a mechanic check for that early lifter tick on an EcoTec3 or any oil seepage around a Coyote's valve covers. Bottom line, buy the F-150. If you did have to keep one V8 truck for the next 200,000 miles, how about you, viewers? Would you choose the F-150 or the Silverado? Let me know.